Young, dark, handsome, and intelligent. Marriage definitely was not on the agenda for my guest. Why settle for one when there are many until something changed? Join us to hear more. Welcome, Jide Akindele.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you on Story Before Glory.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Your mom had you when she was a teenager.
Yeah, she was 18.
Okay.
18,
And what was that experience like? Because it's different when parents are usually older, kind of like more matured. How was that experience for you? Do you have any recollection?
She's. I mean, because people used to see us together, and they would think that she was my sister, my older sister. Yeah. So
even now, because she looks very good, for someone that's someone your age.
Yeah. People don't believe that I'm her son. So. I mean, when we were younger and she used to take me to school, she would go around telling people this. If she did this at my wedding as well, that most parents would have like a pram, a buggy. Yeah. She didn't bother with that. We both used to run for the run for the bus. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, she was young, so she had a lot of energy. Yeah.
Even now, because even now I do know she's actually got a lot of energy in terms of what she does. Yeah. And I know she's very, very passionate about education. Yeah. And you had an early start.
Yes.
With obviously us enforcing, that discipline with you and using you really as a guinea pig towards what she does now. Isn't it? Tell us a bit about that, please.
So, I mean, it would start, I'd say from my earliest memory was around year 3, primary school. Yeah. And, you go to school, you're in class. And, I mean, at that point in time, there wasn't really much going on with, school homework and things like that. So when we would be asked questions in school, I mean, usually things that weren't covered in class, I was always amazed and surprised when other kids, kind of knew the answers. I'm like, we haven't covered this, know. And so you'd automatically think that these kids are, brainy. Yeah. But it was a case of these guys were doing extra learning and, exactly. And so me being sometimes children say things without really thinking, and I kind of landed myself in it. So I now went to go and tell my mom. I was like, okay, go and get your book, kind of thing. So it was like since then, she got the childcraft books and all these other additional learning materials, and then after school on the weekends it was study. Yeah.
And then she prepared you for an exam in a very short period of time.
Yeah, so I remember I was in year 5 and my teacher at the time, Mr. Sinnott, had mentioned to me that I should apply to a particular secondary school. I didn't know what that meant. We just knew that there was always a traditional secondary school that we would go to. Yeah, and so I told my mum about the school. Okay. I didn't know anything about the school. It was the London Oratory School in Fulham, and my mum went to go and do some, some investigating about it, and it was a great school, good school, education-wise and everything, and obviously that meant, you really had to buckle down, and so she didn't leave it at that. It was a case of, well, there are so many other good schools in the country, in and around the country, and it requires taking an exam to get in there, and these exams, as it happened, involved obviously maths and English, and then verbal and non-verbal reasoning. We didn't know anything about non-verbal or verbal reasoning, exactly. And so I remember there was an exam for Latimer, the school Latimer, and the test was 2 weeks from the date that we found out.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and
some people would have been preparing for a year or 2 years before, to get into those
exactly.
schools,
Yeah, they would have been preparing a good year or a couple of years prior. And I only had 2 weeks to familiarize myself with what verbal and non-verbal was, and to be able to master it. And at that time, I was also very unwell. But I managed to learn as much as I could.
Good, right.
And unfortunately, I didn't get in. But they give you feedback in terms of what your pass mark was.
Right.
And I was 4 marks.
Wow.
I missed it by 4 marks.
Yeah.
So
in 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Focus and determination. At age 14, you had meningitis?
Yes. That's a day I'll never forget because that was the same day. That morning, my dad had traveled to Nigeria.
Okay.
And later that evening, I just fell ill, to put it mildly. I couldn't move my neck. I was just, my whole body was in pain. And I remember my sister, my younger sister, at the time, she was just looking at me kind of funny because she thought I was faking or exaggerating until she realized that it was, it was serious. And then I got rushed to I can't remember the hospital now. It was in somewhere in Hackney.
Okay.
I can't remember the name. And I was there for about maybe 3 weeks or so. And
they almost lost you, didn't you?
Yes. That was the second. That was the second time in my life that I'd seen my mum cry.
Wow.
Because they said that he's not going to make it.
Wow.
And I wasn't particularly concerned about my own well-being because I was just in too much pain to really process that. But it was just a case of my mum is crying. So.
And I remember you saying that she had churches and friends and
yes. So she had like a prayer circle.
Yeah.
And they were praying intensely. Came to the hospital. They brought me comic books to read. And interestingly enough, it was in that time that my mum received a letter from the London Oratory School saying that
you got a place.
I got a place. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of your mum praying and obviously having a circle of people that she prays with, so were you church goers? Have you always been going to church? For you at that stage, what was church to you?
Yeah. I was born in the CNS church, the white gown church.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were there the whole day,
Yes.
And then my dad continued to go.
Right. Okay.
But my mom and my siblings, we ended up going to KICC.
Okay.
And because I was also at Catholic school as well, so we were also going to Catholic church as well. Okay. But
did you keep that up, or did you deviate on and off?
Yeah,
I asked that question.
Yeah, my church attendance was fluid, very flexible.
Very fluid. Okay.
Yeah, so
nicely put. I like that.
Yeah, I wasn't.
So it was an in and out.
Yeah, it's not to say because I wasn't enjoying or learning anything. It was just a case of, I put my hand up and say that it was a bit kind of laziness, to get up, get ready for church, and then it's they were at the time, not now. At the time, there were other things I'd rather be doing. My mindset was playing games. Yeah. So. Yeah, my mindset was that God is everywhere.
Was that what you used to say?
Yeah, that was.
So even if I'm at home, God is here.
Yeah, exactly. That was how I rationalized it. But it's not the same.
Yeah, I know, because it's amazing, isn't it? We try and fit everything we try and fit God into everything around us. We make it look, if I'm at home, God is still here. Really, it's not us making that effort. To get to know Him. It's about us saying, "Oh yeah, it's fine. God is here. Even if I don't go to church, it's all okay because God is everywhere."
Exactly.
And, making everything fit in. Okay, I know you have a daughter.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit. So I think my question will be, because your mom is African, typical African, and you got someone pregnant. Yeah. So you would have had to relay that message to your family at some point because you weren't married.
Yeah.
Share a bit about that for us.
So, I didn't really have to break the news to my mum as such because my mum's one of those people, who's like, she believes she knows everything. So it was like, I remember I was in the living room with her, and then I just had this sort of look on my face, like how am I going to, well, how am I going to, I need to tell her, but how do I go about saying it? And she just knew, she just knew that,
Something was
you know,
wrong.
yeah, she just knew that my partner at the time is
Okay.
pregnant. And
They know at times, don't they?
sorry?
The parents at times, because I know my mom can see someone, even only if they're about a month or two pregnant, and she'll be like, it's pregnant. I'm like, how can you tell that someone is pregnant? At times they would have to be about 7 months sticking out before I know.
Yeah.
But some parents just know, you know.
Yeah, I mean, my theory is that my mom knows how to call people's bluff. And,
Right.
one of those sort of things, because, I mean, my mom is not all knowing, she's not God. But, I think it's one of those things where, she could just, I mean, she knows me very well. So she could just read in my face that, okay, I need to speak with her, but I'm hesitant and reluctant to say it there and then.
What you want to
And
say.
then for her, it's just a case of what's the worst case scenario, and then she'll jump straight to the worst case scenario.
Okay.
And yeah.
And then when she found out, how was that taken?
I mean, it went quite well actually. I mean, in the sense that it didn't go how I expected. I thought it was going to be a case of, screaming, I thought I taught you better, et cetera, et cetera. But it was a case of, well, it's happened now, and what's the next step? What are we going to do?
What do we do about it?
Exactly.
Yeah. And what's that? What less? I don't want to say necessarily lesson. How have things been for you in terms of that experience? And I know that you shared with me about your ideology of marriage.
Yeah.
Has that changed since then? As your relationship with your daughter in terms of not getting married. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, comparing my situation now to then, and to what I've learned since then.
How old were you when?
I was 27.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was 27.
Okay.
And I was 27 when she was born.
Yeah.
It was one of those ones where being in a stable relationship, ideally being married,
Yeah.
is so much better, more fulfilling and satisfying than being in a unstable relationship.
Yeah.
It's it disrupts the routine of the child, and I don't get as a parent, I don't get to see my daughter as often as I would like. It's, I mean, I would say to any parent that who lives with their children, their child, that don't take it for granted, because you get the gift of watching your child grow up, every single day. And I mean, fortunately, I was able to see my daughter, when she was born, and the first few, I was there, when she took her first steps,
Right.
and that sort of thing. But I mean, she's 7 now,
Right.
and there is a lot that I have missed,
Yes.
simply because of the nature of the relationship dynamic between myself and her mother.
Thank you. We're going to go on a quick break now.
Okay.
And then we'll return. Please don't go away. More to come about Jide's story. Thank you.